What's going on, YouTube family? This is your boy J Money here, and here I am with another video. Brand new day, and format's officially underway. I've covered the top 5 meta decks of my choice, you know, just based on just looking down everything and all that stuff. I had that yesterday, and today is going to be top 5 rogue decks. Rogue decks are fun, they're awesome. So, you know, if you are playing a meta deck, you know, there's maybe some rogue decks out there you gotta look out for. So this is the video for you, or those who just don't want to play meta decks, like kinda like me, a little bit, except I actually like spirals. Anyway, let's go ahead and start off with the fact that, let's just get started. So anyway, number 5 of our top rogue decks, and this is going to be a wild card, but I don't think Sky Strikers went anywhere. I really don't. Yes, Engage got banned, but Kagari went right back up to 3, and people just highly underestimate just how adaptive that deck really is. Yes, Engage is gone, but you still have 3 Area Zeros, you still have Terraforming, you still have, you can now play 3 Foolish Goods to kind of replace that. And you still have Hiates. Hiate Kagari is still basically a way you can search through your deck. And if you want to make sure that Hiate goes through and is protected more times than not, you can max out on Eagle Boosters and things like that, you know. The deck can play a lot more tools. You can play any sort of disruptive tools that it needs depending on the format, you know. They're probably not going to play Demise anymore because Demise is limited, but, you know, you saw things like there can only be one, crackdowns, you know, some play Lost Wind. There's just so many tools that can play. The deck is too flexible for it to go anywhere. Even with Engage gone, just that deck is so resilient, you know, it's so control oriented. It's so hard to believe that that deck's going anywhere. Like, a lot of people are thinking Striker's dead, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think so. Wind Waker's still at 1. But again, I said it, you still have crackdowns. They could probably start playing mind controls now to go for game. The deck has too many versatile tools for it to truly be gone. Now, that's a wild card, but I think Strikers is still I still feel like it's a viable deck still. So look out for Sky Strikers. Number 4, we have Heroes. Okay, Colossus is gone. All right, Strikers was another matchup, I guess, that was just kind of not very good. I mean, yeah, you had Darklaw and stuff, but when you can just, you know, if they didn't snipe Afterburner, if you searched it, if they didn't snipe Anchor, you know, they were just going to run all over you, you know, and they could just break your board apart, you know, because their strategy isn't very monster-oriented, it's very spell-oriented. But with Thunders and Strikers taking those huge hits, that kind of opens the door, you know, clears the paveway for Heroes to have a chance to do something at this point. You know, the ball's in their court now, so they got no excuses. So, and they even got more support, you know, in Legendary Duelist Magical Hero, Liquid Man / Liquid Soldier, and Sunrise. Those cards they're pretty good. They're solid. Now, in terms of the Liquid Soldier, I don't think it will do that much more to the deck. I mean, because to get his effective draw and all that stuff, you have to use it as fusion material. I'm not sure if you can do that with Dystopia and things like that, or Malicious Bane. Because I think those require like Destiny Heroes or something. Or, I could be wrong. Again, I don't play Heroes, so. But if they can, more power to them. Honestly, I feel like that effect is a little bit more niche. Or is redundant, my bad. Because it's like, I feel like if you get to that point to where you use it as a fusion material, I feel like you already have all your pieces outside of Mass Change. Because normally you would send Shadow Mist to the graveyard and use the effect to search Honest Neos or Hero Monster like Stratos or something in general, rather than using it to search Mass Change. So if I guess that effect to draw in this card is pretty good if you are trying to get into a Mass Change. and the other effect to normal and revive a monster from the graveyard. I'm not sure it comes up that much because I feel that you would still normal summon Stratos. I mean, don't take my word for it. Again, I don't play Heroes, but I figured you would still want to summon Stratos. Whether it's to get access to your combo pieces or if it's to get access to more extenders like Malicious and things like that if you didn't already have it. But of course, you're saying that with Vion, which you summon off of Increase. So, you know what I mean. But anyway, Heroes, Solid Deck, Dark Claw / Plasma. Sunrise for going second is pretty nice. Malicious Bane is still one hell of a card. They have a lot of tools. Dark Claw still wins games. So yeah, Heroes number 4. Number 3. I'm gonna give it to Muskets. Now, yeah, Sky Strikers, one of their toughest matchups. Kinda. It's not about, it didn't fall by the wayside because again, I feel like Striker is still going to be a deck you do need to look out for. But Striker, Thunder, those two decks, again, with those two severely dropped in power, I do feel that it paves the way for Muskets to do some things. Now, granted, there's still the issue with Muskets because it's not a combo deck and it's not a stun deck either. And I don't know if I said this in a video, but you know, in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, you kind of want to be on two different sides of the spectrum. You want to be on extreme combo or extreme control. And it's just like, I feel like if you're in the middle, because you don't really, sorry, baby, there you go. Go ahead. All right. I feel the problem with is any deck in the middle that doesn't excel at combo or doesn't excel at control. I feel that since it doesn't excel at any of those, then it falls short, you know, because I feel like control could just out control you at this point because you don't excel at control, or the combo deck eventually can just outpace you because you're not extreme combo, or again, because you're not extreme control. So that's the problem I see with decks that aren't like Altergeist, Subterror, Draco on this side, or like Seaford Thunder, Combo Thunder, Spirals, and stuff on this side. Nonetheless, Muskets is still pretty decent. You got the Utopia Double for your double or nothing. Shout out to Morgan for that. Thank you. Muskets, I feel that it's up there now in the rogue category simply because of its bad matchups. And Pendulum. Pendulum was another one, but that didn't really go anywhere. It's probably going to be one of the higher tier decks, honestly, because of certain decks taking a nosedive. But don't quote me on it. Number 2, guys. I'm going to give it to Dinosaurs. One thing and one thing only. True King Lithosagem. That card is still an incredibly insane card. Being able to rip 3 cards from the opponent's extra deck is busted in this game. And if you are not playing a deck like Sky Strikers, you will lose. If you are playing a deck that needs this extra deck, you know, basically any deck that doesn't play Extravagance and is not Sky Strikers, you will lose if a Dinosaur player goes first and resolves a Lithosagem by blowing up 2 Earth monsters. Reason being, most of our good, important extra deck cards are either limited or we play one of because we need to make space for other cards in our extra deck. Picture this. Now imagine if Electromite wasn't banned and Dinosaurs went first and they revealed Lithosagem. I banish Electromite, Ice Vortex Dragon, and Hieratic Seal from my opponent's extra deck. What is the deck doing? It ain't doing nothing. Period, point blank. If I play against Spirals and I banish their Appaloosa, their Double Helix, and what's a really key important one? It might be Barricade Board Blocker for the discard mint combo. You could just get rid of Tri-Gate Wizard just to nip that in the bud. You can get rid of Nightmare Griffin or Curious, depending on which build you're playing. But regardless, they lose. Period. Point blank, they lose. Orcus, it's a little bit of a different story, simply for the fact that first you have to banish 3 extra deck monsters with different names, and just how Orcus work, Galateas, Longirsus, just being able to shuffle back their banished cards, so it doesn't kill them, provided you play multiples of Galateas and Dingy Boy. But yeah, Lithus Sagem. I can't believe that card came back. I really can't believe it, man. Just, again, ripping into the extra deck is so strong. It's so powerful. Before your opponent even has a chance to use it, it's just, Again, mark my words. People are gonna ask for that card to get rebanned after a while. People, hey, it's similar. It's not that similar to a hand loop, but it feels the same. To where it's just like, I get my stuff ripped and I don't get to use it. It feels kind of like getting hand looped, in a sense. So, yeah. Dinosaurs number 2. Look out. Anyway, guys, my number 1 rogue deck of January 2020. I'm going to give it to Necrosis, man. Necrosis. Its 2 hardest matchups, being Striker and Thunder, have gone by the wayside. See, you probably already noticed the trend here, but a lot of these rogue decks can, that I mentioned, can actually come out of the woodwork because of Striker and Thunder's hits on this ban list. Like, those 2 lists, and those 2 decks in particular have hindered a lot of rogue decks. Like, for Thunder, it was atrocious. If they went first and summoned just even 1 Colossus and passed, you probably lost. Which means you had to main deck a go second build. You had to play a go second build and all that, and you were still put in a situation where you had to open those outs. If you didn't open those outs, you lost, period. And point blank. And yeah, you may think Necrosis doesn't have that bad of a time against Sky Strikers, because Necrosis does pretty well against other stun decks like Ultrageist, Subterrors, and things like that. The problem is, Sky Strikers just massively accumulated their resources, so much to the point where Necrosis couldn't keep up with it. Either you couldn't close out the game fast enough because they had things like Eagle Booster and just search a bunch of cards the next turn and anchored you and Shark Cannon and went in and busted your stuff open and still had control tools at its disposal, or they just that alone. It's like, if you couldn't kill them, they would just massively amass a lot more resources. Basically, you just got out resourced very well. And again, because Sky Strikers is a spell-centric deck and not a monster-centric deck, cards like Unicorn and Colossalus and Brionic don't really do that much to the deck. So, your only tools to really deal with a Striker were Trishula, Gungnir if you actually played it, and, tech cards like I used with Lord of the Red stuff to get rid of multi-rolls and other set cards. And so, but even then, you were still put at an uphill battle, and you had to rely on your side deck. You had to play Secret Village for starters. You had to play Secret Village. You had to side a lot of cards against back row in general. And sometimes that still wasn't enough, because on top of all that, Strikers played hand traps, they played other floodgates and things like that. You were just having a bad time. But since Striker and Thunder have drastically dropped, I feel like Necrosis is very primed to go up there, because Necrosis doesn't have a hard time against backer decks. So those decks like Ultrageist, Subterrors, Necrosis are smiling at this point. Same thing with Spirals is a different story, because yes, you can Unicorn and negate every extra deck monster on the board, but if Sleeper's still on the board, that's still something you gotta have to deal with. Unless you hard drew Gungnir, and at that point, you were good to go. So Spirals, again, Orcus is a 50-50, depending on the player, and depending on what you know depending on what you know to banish in the Orcus deck, because again, Orcus is one of those weird decks because yeah, you can banish a Ding from the grave, and you can banish, I don't know, a Nightmare from the grave. But if they have like a World Wand in the grave, or like any way to summon another Orcus and just make another Galatea, and you know, it's just like even those one-ups can get shuffled back at that point. So it's 50-50. It really depends on what the Orcus player has in their grave on field, and what the Orcus player ended up setting up the turn before. Like if they set up a return and all that stuff. All that stuff you gotta really think about. It's a really skill-intensive matchup when it comes to Necros versus Orcus, but aside from all these factors, I feel like Necros has the best chance amongst all of the meta decks, thanks to Thunder and Striker. Its two worst matchups finally losing a lot of steam for Necros to really thrive in this format. So guys, that's it for my top 5. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did I miss a deck and all that? So if I did, let me know down in the comments, you know, what deck you think should have been amongst the top 5 and why. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is J Money, and I am signing out.